Welcome to Mikam Israel. The Torah tells us in this week's Parashat, Vayelech, Va'ata katvu lechem et hashira hazot. And now write for yourselves this song, Lama'an tiyeleh hashira hazot le'ed b'nei Yisrael, so that the song itself shall be for me as a witness among the children of Israel. Why does the Torah call itself a Shira, a song? The Ramah writes in the Sefer Torah Ta'olah that the uplifting music that was sung by the Leviim in the Beit HaMikdash was so holy that even the Malachim in Shemayim would stop their own Shira just to listen. The Bnei Yisachar explains that every part of creation, the stars, the rivers, the winds, even the smallest creatures, all exist because of their unique Shira. Their melody is their lifeline, and when their song stops, their existence falters. At the Yam Suf, when the natural song of the sea was silenced by the miracle, Klal Yisrael stepped forward and they began to sing the Shira. And so the Torah is called Shira because Torah is not only wisdom and law, it's the ultimate melody of creation, the harmony through which all divine blessing flows into the world. But sometimes, Borei Olam lets us see this truth with our very own eyes when a Jew's own heartbeat is connected to his Shira. This story was shared by Rabbi Shmuel Ganut, who personally knew the man to whom this happened. He told it in his name, for this is no legend, it's a living truth. Just several years ago in Tel Aviv, there was a man named David. He grew up surrounded by Torah. His father was the devoted Gabbai at the Sadiger Beit Knesset. But when his father passed away, suddenly the world collapsed around and the anchor of his life was gone. Broken and bitter, David somehow drifted from Torah. Outwardly, he became a successful businessman, but inwardly, he was cut off from the song that once gave his soul life. At age 32, everything changed. In the middle of an ordinary workday, he collapsed, Allahu Aleinu, from a massive heart attack. He was rushed to the hospital. Doctors tried everything. They shocked his heart, they injected medications, they worked furiously, but nothing. His pulse was gone, his heart was silent. A senior professor signed the death certificate. His body was lifeless and it was placed on a stretcher and rolled toward the morgue. But at that very moment, something beyond this world was happening. His neshama, was rising upward. And there he saw his father, and beside him stood the holy Sadiger Rebbe. Their eyes were filled with both love and sternness. David, you abandoned the path of Torah. You walked away from your own Shira. But Borei Olam is giving you one last chance. If you will accept upon yourself to learn Torah 1 fixed hour every single day, you may return. If not, your song ends here. The weight of eternity pressed upon him, and with trembling lips he whispered, I accept. And then the impossible. On the way to the morgue, in full view of the hospital staff, his fingers twitched, his chest rose, his eyes opened, gasps filled the corridor, and the dead man was alive. From that day on, David never missed his Shira, not once. Day after day, year after year, over 7,000 consecutive days, he set aside one sacred hour for Torah. His business could wait, his appointments could pause, but his hour of Gemara was untouchable because his very heartbeat was tied to that hour. And then years later came the test again. It was the day of his niece's wedding. The family was buzzing with preparations. David had errands to run, last-minute arrangements to oversee, relatives to pick up, details to juggle. The day swept from him from morning until night. And for the first time in over 20 years, his fixed hour of learning was pushed aside. He told himself, I'll make it up later, but later never came. That night, in the middle of the music and the dancing, he suddenly collapsed. They carried him out, pale and still, on a stretcher. And with the faintest whisper of breath, he said, bring me a Gemara. I haven't learned my session yet today. They placed the Gemara in his hands, and as the words of the Torah passed his lips, his strength returned, his heart began to beat, his eyes regained their light, his life was restored. Because for David, Torah was not only wisdom, it was his Shira, it was the song of life. And as long as the song played, he lived. Ladies and gentlemen, as we stand in the days of Aseret Yemei Teshuvah, moving swiftly towards Kippur, the message could not be clearer. Torah is our Shira. It's the melody that sustains us. It's the song that keeps us alive. David's life showed us in his own flesh and blood. When his Shira was silent, his heart stopped. When his Shira resumed, his life returned. And this truth belongs to every Jew. Each of us has a Shira. For one, it's Gemara. For another, it's a fixed time for Tehillim. For another, it's a tefillah said with kavanah or baking challah or Shabbat. Whatever it may be, that Shira is our lifeline. When it plays, our soul breathes. When it's silent, something inside of us falters. And so in these days of Teshuvah, the question is not only, what did I do wrong? The deeper question is, what is my Shira? Am I still singing the song that sustains my life? On Kippur, when we stand before Borei Olam, He isn't only weighing our deeds. He's listening for our melody. He's listening for the Shira of His children. And if that song is alive, if we renew it with sincerity and passion, then we're already inscribed for life. Because where there is Shira, there is breath. And where there is Torah and mitzvot, there is eternity. Shabbat shalom and mevorach.